Hey, everyone, we're live at the coaches' breakfast for the AFC, so come and let's have some fun, okay? All right.
How challenging was it to get an evaluation and give it all? Absolutely.
So for him, he didn't feel like it. So we drafted him, we were 10 and 6, fifth set records. We had 3 quarterbacks. We took him as a redshirt. We had no plans of playing him, even with the year going the way it was. And obviously the quarterback's going down. We got to the end of the season, he didn't play. But he was positive. He was still, I'm sure he was frustrated. I can't speak for him. Starting in college and being a good football player, then coming to the league in 3 years, probably Iowa. I don't think he learned a lot as well. You know, like I said, he threw scout team and we knew he had an arm and he could do some things and he's very smart. So we were encouraged by that going forward. We get a chance to make this year.
There are challenges so I think that I feel that
Hey, how's it going, man?
Colorado. And
You got it, man. Headed your way.
are you getting out at all? Or is it all bunker mentality, all pre-draft?
Excuse me. Thanks.
And Mike, no different. What he did offensively and special teams wise. I like Mike.
the fact that Mike, our guys, perform well for us. It's like reaction. It makes life very easy for myself because they know me, they understand how we're going to do things, they understand how our coaching staff's going to work, they understand how our building works, they know our program, and the less in and out we have with guys that don't know how to do things our way.
Where did that, I mean, you always want that, where did this big emphasis on that start? Was that during that review that you guys did in January or something? Or did you take it to the Latin? Or what did you
better every single year. But when you had a year such as he did this past season, and it ended up ending the way it did, other than
Worried that you might get there.
Right behind you.
Yep.
hallmark of really good defenses I've been around throughout my career? Understanding, eliminating that gray is huge for us. It's something that has to get done.
You said you'd been there a couple times, shows, gambling, whatever. Could you ever, from when you were there, because I assume with the stadium they will push for
And
money
eat good food.
and good food.
Really good food.
I'm assuming with a stadium that will push one, can you envision a Super Bowl there in that town? When you think but you've been to Super Bowl, so I mean, when you think of a Super Bowl in that town, the hotel, what would you say to that? If it ever happened?
I think it would be an actual. I would think that would be almost an automatic. When you're designing it, you've got all the things you look for: the infrastructure, the hotels, restaurants, everything that you need and want. Close proximity. For all the events in there, there's space to do all the events. I think, and the beautiful weather. I think it's going to be a natural fit.
Is there an environment in football that replicates the black hole?
Wake up, buddy. It's okay. How you doing, man?
Just how it is to be up there.
Say that one more time.
Is there anywhere in football that replicates the black hole?
Well, there are other fan bases that are pretty good too. So obviously we're proud of ours. We love the Raider Nation and the loyal support that we've had for a number of years. And this past year, to see how they traveled. We took over San Diego. We were very, very loud, very strong in Mexico. And really everywhere we went, there was a presence. And so when we talk about the black hole, it's not just a location. It's kind of a mentality that our fans travel with, and we travel well.
Speaking of San Diego, you do have a lot of displaced fans there, as you do now in other parts, other football fan bases. Would you like to go ahead and take this moment to recruit these former Chargers fans who are looking for a team to claim to?
Well, we listen. We appreciate the people that support the Raiders, regardless of where you live. Raider Nation is very strong, and are very loyal and supporting our team, and we appreciate it.
Leslie, could you just speak to this addition of John Pagano, who brings to your coaches after you too?
Yeah, really happy to have John Pagano join us. He's got a wealth of experience. Comes from a great football family. He's a bright guy. He's done a superb job, I think, of blending in with the staff and getting a feel for everybody and how they work and how we have done things, and we'll be able to offer up a suggestion or two that we can take, and like we always do, we pull together and it becomes us. And so we have a lot of different experiences, and he brings a lot of that experience to the table, and he's a good communicator. So we're looking forward to having him as part of the Silver and Black.
Jack, what do you see? Is he just running back class?
A lot of depth, a lot of talent.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Some guys will probably take off. Thank you. Some guys will probably come off the board early in this draft.
No one's going to sit opposite.
Very talented. That would be. And then there's some depth to the group. It's a pretty good draft. But you know better than me.
Is John going to work with any position group more than any other, let's say on like a normal practice day?
Yeah, more in the back end.
Jack, we talked about what it takes from the perspective of you as a coach to deal with the Vegas issue in the coming year and beyond. Speaking from your perspective as a player, what do the players need to do in order to focus in and not worry about that equation?
Well, players, the number one thing you have to, I think, do as a player, even as a coach, is talk to your wife and kids and educate them. Everybody needs to understand, what the landscape is. To me, once you get that part settled, then you can settle back into your job and what you need to do. We always clearly define the roles that we're looking for and make sure our guys understand that and understand the why, and then we get to teaching and growing and developing. But I don't think you can dismiss that aspect of it. There are wives at home right now. They're asking their husbands, and their husbands don't have those answers. So the first thing I want them all to know is that just remember that 30% 30% of the team changes. So don't be worried about what we're going to be doing 2 or 3 years from now. Be worried about take care of your job so you can be a part of that in 2 or 3 years. So it's about the here and now for the actual coach, for the actual player, for the actual product that we're putting out this year. but you can't be blind to the fact that there are families involved, there are people involved, and they need some information. Part of that will be not yet.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, would you say to them the first time you get them in the group?
I have, begun to put those thoughts together. I'm not prepared to say more than I have here today, and that is, that obviously there's a lot of time between the here and the now, and we need to focus on what we're doing right now.
So there's really no blueprint to go by here because there's such a time lapse of the teams that have moved, they move the next season.
No, exactly right. Next season or immediately.
Right.
So, it's a little unique. So there's not a handbook out there. If there is, please send it to me. Get it to Will. Will, get it over to me. There's not one out there. But we will draw on the experiences that we have, the wisdom that we have in the group, and do the best we can to put the plan together and executing that plan.
Plunkett told me, in '81 they kind of went through this. They didn't know exactly for sure they were moving, but it was kind of that he said the same thing you just did there. The biggest thing was going who would they get families. You wonder if you'll talk to any of those 1981 Raiders that they go through.
Well, now that it wasn't going to waste any time until it was time.
Yeah.
Now that is going to happen, I really know some of those guys have been through that experience. And just ask and make sure we learn and understand some of the issues, some of the pitfalls, some of the problems, and just address them and handle them the best we can. There's some that are unavoidable. It's just part of the growing pain, picking up from where you are and going somewhere else.
Jack, are you afraid that you might lose your home field advantage in a couple of years if the fans decide not to support the team?
I don't. I can't answer that definitively. I would say I doubt it. I doubt it because I think the first thing we have to do is play well and earn it. I think that's where it starts. So I'm betting on us doing well, right? So if we do well enough, we'll be excited to watch it. And there is that element where there will be a certain number of people that are disappointed to the point where they can't come and support anymore, and that's understandable. We'll just see what that number is. If that number grows to a lot, then obviously we'll adjust that line of thinking. But I'd be surprised.
What kind of a piece did you add in Cordell Patterson?
Really excited about CP. He's a gifted athlete. Once he touches the ball, he can score from anywhere. He's excited about what we plan on doing with him in our offense and with our special teams. It's not just a special teams guy. We're going to integrate him into our offense, and I think he's a dynamic playmaker.
Hey, Coach, how is the offense going to change after Musgrave? Because the one thing I was fascinated with Coach Musgrave was he installed elements of Chip Kelly's offense, and he even played around with some things that Todd Franklin did at Cal. It was pretty interesting. But how is it going to change this year?
Yeah, every year it little tweaks, offensive, defensive, special teams, systems, what you're going to do. Todd being elevated, he'll have his opportunity to impact that.
So you're going to give him
design that as we go. I give him the freedom to work through it. We've got good staff. Mike Tice, all the different guys on the staff, offensive staff, putting plans together. And we'll continue to do that. Look to be innovative. Look to take advantage of our quarterback and the talents that he has.
Do you think with the new OC that we'll see something that looks different? We see that may be different.
I don't think it'll look a whole lot different. Like to execute, I think each year you go back and reinvest in the things that you believe in, that you want to be good at. No matter how good it went, there's always room for improvement. And, certainly is a strong year for the offense.
Sure. When you went back and self-scouted and went over last year, did you learn anything surprising that kind of get lost in the forest of the regular season that you don't do when you step back? Was there anything you learned that was surprising?
Not really. Not anything that jumped out where we were unaware of it prior to doing this thing.
Hey,
What
Coach.
did you see in Todd Downing over the course of the last couple of seasons that made you confident, hey, this guy can handle, he's young, that this guy can handle an offensive coordinator job as well?
Just the interaction that I witnessed, the leadership that he provided over the last 2 years. The ability to communicate with his group, how they play in his group, the importance of that group. I saw all of that. I think the overall, the ability to lead on the offensive staff, the ability to direct, organize, and execute assignments that are given. Just he earned his way. It's his time to get an opportunity. Really good, talented.
Jack, in that wire, in the game that Derek got hurt, he was wired, by NFL Films. It was so interesting to watch him as such a young guy. You can tell that he had his hand around the throat of your team. He's totally in control of your team at such a young age. That's sort of an underrated part of being the quarterback and being the team leader. And that's things that people really on the outside don't see very much. You see it every day. What's that aspect of his personality and his game like?
Yeah, I think that's a great observation, Peter. Derek, what these guys that are there get to see all the time, that's who he is. I mean, he's really authentic. Right? He does care. He is sincere in that. His tweet yesterday was right on the money. I mean, he's thoughtful. He's not thinking about just himself. He's thinking about others, and how he can impact others in a positive way. During free agency, whatever player we were on, Derek was on him too. It's like he's doing all the right things, and it's not forced. It's not made up, not manufactured. It's just him. It's real, and that's the best part.
Yeah.
Really, the two top players on our football team, me and Derek and Khalil, and they're those kind of guys. They're the kind of guys I can lay my head down at night on my pillow and not worry about it. And not only are they not going to get in trouble, but they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
In their earnestness is really what you're talking about. Do they remind you of that anybody you played with? I know you probably loathe to make comparisons, but just in that quality of earnestness.
Yeah, it's no, we don't have a name that jumps to the
Jack, what about the? I'm going to.
Jack, I don't know if there's a blueprint for what you and the Raiders are now going to be asked to do.
There's a handbook.
We're
looking for that handbook.
Oh, the handbook. A playoff team, big aspirations, knows it's going to be moving soon, but not now, and the fans have to. How do you plan to manage that with your players when the goal is always what's next in the NFL, but there's the specter of what's in 3 years?
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, we're going to find out. Maybe I'll have a handbook back.
Hey, Coach, what's your take on?
Get to the next day, but I think for me, it's something that you have to navigate. I think you have to appreciate some of the things that are coming, understand what they are, and I don't know if you were here when I was talking about earlier, but addressing the families now, so they're not anxious about that. Hey, there's time. Right, now's not the time. I think if you really go back to this basic principle, it's a year-to-year league. Heck, it's a week-to-week league. And so, don't get too far ahead of yourselves. There is a story that's going to be written that's going to take off. But we really have to focus on the here and now, because so much of the team turns over anyway. Coaching staffs, there's movement and opportunities, and so many things happen. For us, let's just focus on taking care of business.
Hey, Coach, what's your take on?
Jack, you believe we could be a Super Bowl team?
So we've got a lot of work to do before we just get back to the playoffs. First of all, I'm anxious to see what the schedule is going to look like when it comes. We're going to the East, I think 6 times this year, so it'll be a challenge.
Well, Coach, when you look at the things that you're able to accomplish moving forward as a head coach, as an organization, having a chance to go to Las Vegas, can't you use that to your advantage? Because I remember in Pittsburgh, we had a chance to change our stadium over from Three Rivers to Heinz Field. Guys wanted to be a part of that newness. Guys want to be a part of that refreshing feeling of, man, this may be pretty good. The recruiting process may have guys that really want to come here. It's in Vegas. You should be able to use that to your advantage, correct?
Well, I think we'll certainly look for every opportunity, to maximize, whatever we're going through. And once you get into that part, I think that's part of what we did initially in Oakland. Is we transformed that building. New performance center, steam room. Freshened up the halls. Fresh paint. Put some murals in and things like that. So I think when you now go to talking about new buildings and things like that, yeah, I think some of that stuff is impressive. But I'm really more into the fabric of the character, the culture that we have, and I'm going to spend more of my time on those things and less time on the actual buildings and structures.
Jack,
on that note, what's your take on Joe Mixon?
The emotions that you went through so late in the year when you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender and then you lose your quarterback.
Yeah.
And it happens so late, there's almost no time to adjust to it either emotionally or on the field. What was that like for you when you can see your season end on the field like that?
Well, there's a part as a competitor that you're never going to yield to that. So there was a feeling of, oh, blank, this just got a lot harder. But there was no backing down, there was no quit, there was no shying away from the challenge in front of us. In my heart, I thought we would go down and at least win the first game. And we didn't get that done. So that energizes me to make sure that we're stronger in all areas. You want to get to where you can overcome a loss like that and go continue to win.
Right.
And that's what we're going to continue to build towards.
So you have that happen last year, and now you come back directly healthy, and then you have this I don't know if you can even call it a distraction, but this unique set of circumstances that no matter how hard you try to convince your players to put that in the future, don't worry about it, get 30% of it, but it's still going to hang over your team. Does this really put you to the test? Having to get over losing Derek Carr was one thing, but now have something that's going to, be there for a while.
I think when you look at the two things, I don't know that you can equate. I think if you try and equate losing your quarterback, who's having an MVP type of year, to a distraction we're going to move, I don't think they measure up. I think one's a whole lot heavier and more impactful than the other. So I would say you're right.
I assume losing the quarterback was more impactful.
Yeah, slightly. So I would say that understanding there is something that needs to be dealt with. There is a challenge, but there's also an opportunity anytime there's a challenge, right? So I think we'll look at it like that. Do all we can to keep our quarterback upright.
Mike, you mentioned the East 6 Eastern trips. Can we assume you'll request the back-to-back so you can stay back there?
Yeah, we've
already done that. You don't know. Yeah.
We have no idea yet what that'll end up being.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have some things that we've requested that would better enable us to withstand what's coming. And I think part of that is a recognition of going to the next level. Regardless of how you paint it, It's a home game for us. So from a competitive advantage standpoint, we're not gaining one, we're losing one. That's if you continue to go, that's one thing. If you continue to go and it's a home game, you're losing. You're playing 9 on the road and 7 at home. That's a competitive disadvantage. So hopefully, recognition of that. We don't also have some other things like a Thursday night game 2 time zones away.
Right.
Just nobody else in the league is asked to do that. So we want to make sure that we're getting a fair shake. Hopefully, we will.
When you look back at Carl Joseph's body of work over his rookie season, how did you evaluate him? He was obviously coming off the ACL, but playing a lot. Where does he need to improve? What impressed you in his
I think Carl's going to take a big step forward this year as a player in his development, just with comfort and understanding what's expected of him, coming in and being healthy, having a full off season of work. I just feel like a confident Carl Joseph's going to be a much more impactful guy.
Sure. Jack, you've been an advocate of expansion of the review of replay, such replay, looking at more things. The Buffalo-Seattle proposal, I don't imagine it's going to go through today, but was that a message perhaps that that's a representation of a lot of coaches in the league would like to see replays expanded to whatever degree?
Well, I think there are a number of coaches that just feel like if there's an obvious error, we should have a mechanism to correct it, and we catch most of them. So you're talking about a small percentage. It's hard to move the needle for such a small percentage. That's the problem.
Do you think the NFL should go to?
But the fact is, if it's important enough that we're willing to use that challenge, we just like that right, that ability. They're right. Like the percentage of times it comes up is very small, but things happen, and you don't want to lose a big game, a game that decides whether you advance or not in the playoffs, decides whether or not you make the playoffs, and whether you win your division or not, and it's something you can overturn, something you can challenge and change. Why not?
The CFL is going into its 4th year of having coaches with the ability to challenge not only called defensive pass interference, but not called. They've been able to do that the last 2 years, and everybody seems to like it. Fans, coaches, the league. Do you think the NFL might be close to that?
I wouldn't try to speculate on that. I would just say that the more it's being done somewhere else, the more comfortable it has to become in being considered.
What's your take on Joe Mixon in the NFL draft?
One of the players coming out in the draft. Yeah, I haven't done much studying of him.
Cam Robinson?
Are you going to grill me on how many guys I know in the draft?
No, I'm an advocate of him because he ragdolled Myles Garrett last year when Bama played Texas A&M.
Well, obviously, that's good tape to watch of those two teams.
So I'll give you a little tip there. How's that?
Being very talented. Yeah, I mean, we work hard at the draft process. And, I really don't want to sit here and try and describe the different players that we're evaluating at this point.
I get you.
Do you have an opinion on the overtime stuff? I know there's a proposal to shorten overtime 10 minutes. Some people talk about going to college system. Do you have an opinion on any of that?
I heard 2 things that were interesting to me. One is that I think everybody agrees you'd like to see each team get an opportunity to possess the ball. And I think statistically speaking, we'd like to reduce the number of snaps that we're actually taking in overtime. And with those 2 things in mind, I think the college system should be a strong consideration because both of those things happen. Right now, we're taking more snaps in our overtimes than they are. So from a player safety standpoint, you'd like to reduce how much exposure you're having for your players, additional exposure to settle the overtime. But they're also getting both teams a chance to possess the ball, which didn't happen in the Super Bowl, right? So it's a great example of why you'd like to see
something where both teams get to possess the ball. You like to see, can Matt Ryan answer? Right? And then we all wonder that? Can Matt answer? So it's like, no, Matt didn't get a chance to answer. But to me, those are two compelling reasons to take a hard look at it. Hopefully, when we go through that today, that's that discussion has a chance to go somewhere.
What's your favorite Vegas show? You mentioned you go to shows in Vegas. What's your favorite?
I'm not.
It's way too soon.
They're only about 15 Cirque du Soleil.
Hey, what's your take on the leaper rule? Because I talked to Rich McKay about it. With respect to controlling athletic ability, he said that wasn't the idea. The idea was basically player safety.
I think it is player safety. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes today. I know that's going to be discussed. There are some safety concerns on that are legitimate.
I won't even ask you about the 2019 season and how you might not play the whole season on the road. I don't know what that's 2 years away.
We'll see.
How about a right tackle question, huh?
Yeah.
Without Menelik there, obviously you have Austin who has experience and Vidal. Is Newhouse going to play more outside? Do we know yet, or is he going to
go either way?
Is that a full-on open competition between those guys in every draft? Is that an important spot considering the rest of your line is obviously well established and set? You need that person to fit in well with what they do.
We're going to put together a strong offensive line again. Coach Tice does a great job working that group. We took a guy that has experience playing inside and outside, and we're going to let that position be competitive. Add anybody in the draft, which we could. Anybody that comes in, get an opportunity to compete for that spot.
This is April 17th is the first time I was
It's the start of our off-season.
What's the latest then, I guess, on Logan? I know you guys, again, still can't have any contact with him, but based on what happened with him a couple of weeks ago, I mean, any thoughts on just trying to get him some help, trying to get him back in the home, trying to get this?
It's really a little bit frustrating to not be able to be a part of the process. My feel is that I could help him, but the experts know. The experts don't allow that. So I just have to follow the rules. But it does get frustrating to not be able to help a young man, help provide support, provide structure, and but that's somebody else has to make those decisions. It's just out of my hands.
Maybe one more, guys.
Coach, you said to play the Patriots in Mexico this
Yes.
season. What are the benefits of those games abroad?
The benefits? Well, let's see. I think the league benefits.
This is a tougher question than I anticipated.
Well, I mean, the league benefits. I mean, we get exposure, worldwide, and so I think it's healthy for the league to grow the game and its popularity across the globe. So at that point, it's there's value in it.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Hey, don't give up on Sam's, by
Good
the way.
time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Let's do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
You get to the Super Bowl,
next.
you're going to do it 5 times.
You guys are good, man. I have no problem.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Mr. King. There you go. You got it. Don't want you to trip.
Walk out this way.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. You get out of your way. Get out of your way that direction. Thanks. Sorry. I go in that direction. That's the AFC Coaches Breakfast. I really tried to get, since most of my viewers are Raider fans, Jack Del Rio. So, got a flavor for what it's like, and it's kind of hard to go every place, right? But I'm going to eat breakfast, Now I'm going to eat breakfast and shut this thing down. So, sorry about that. Pretty good, thanks. All right. Oh, hey, good morning. How are you? Pretty good. All right. So that's it for the coach's breakfast, and I'm gonna get what he's got. Breakfast. Oh boy. Hey Jared, what do you think? You want to make some comments?
About what?
What your thoughts on the coach? What you heard at the coach's breakfast? Because I was with Jack Del Rio. So this is supposed to. This is USA's Today's Jared Bell. So
Okay. Pretty standard fare. John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, was fired up. He's probably the most excited about these breakfast sessions. You got a chance to see some of the new coaches. It was good to hear Vance Joseph and what he's going to bring to the Broncos from a leadership standpoint. No Bill Belichick. So
yeah, I know that's what was missing. Yeah.
But a lot of questions about the Raiders and Vegas.
Right.
And it was really good to kind of hear what some of the other coaches thought about that situation.
What did they say? Because I was with Del Rio most of the time.
Just pretty much, hey, you got to treat Vegas just like any other city for the most part. And so you're going to have your challenges and whatnot. So, nothing too earth-shattering. But again, that was a topic of conversation. So I say it from the standpoint that it obviously has created a lot of buzz, a lot of conversation, talking points.
Yeah, how could it not, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, check out your stuff. So definitely check out his stuff, not your stuff, his stuff. I gotta remember his live stream too. It's like
that's dangerous.
Oh, it's fun though. It's really cool.
Thanks a lot, Sonny.
You got it, man. I'll see it. Okay. Let's see. Next is food. I'm gonna eat. There's. One thing I wonder is what the. Yeah. I'll be back. I'm gonna take a break and eat, and show you what this spread looks like. So, what's going on, man? You feeling better? He's a little sick. I don't know. What do you think? Anything you saw that was interesting, or?
No. I talked about Joe Mixon, the Bay Area kid.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's able to recover from this. I got sort of a, nice kid.
Right.
A nice kid vibe. Owned it, but not a complete embrace of him yet.
Del Rio didn't want to give me a statement. He just said, I don't mean it that way. He did give me a statement. What he basically said was, I'm not really prepared to talk about that just yet. He says, you're going to grill me on every draft person? I said, oh, how about Cam Robinson?
But the kid from Contra Costa, you'd want to ask about him.
Yeah.
He's kind of local, and you had him in for an interview. You'd want to know about him.
Yeah.
I don't know what their position is on him. I talked to the Chargers, talked to the Denver about him.
Yeah.
And again, I got a feeling of generally positive, somewhat short of an embrace. That's probably wise.
Have you seen the video?
Oh yeah, I've seen the video.
Yeah. What'd you think? I thought it was
it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I mean,
it's like he had snapped. It was like just.
He absolutely snapped. I mean,
there's no audio. I was like, what's happening?
Well, I mean, I think it's likely that she said something that sent him over the edge. Okay.
Well, the girl did.
But that doesn't justify.
Not in the least. No. Hold on a second, folks. Never do that, folks. Just saying, okay.
Right. It does, but it's vicious. It's ugly, and he deserves to hear about it.
Yeah.
Does he deserve a second chance in the league? Yeah. It was. Look, he was 18.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He's done a lot of bad things. Now, should he be a first or second or third round pick? That goes into earning your way back into the league. And how badly do you want to?
Is it like a Trevor Boykin issue? Who, by the way, got arrested sadly. Got arrested last night.
I don't know Boykins. He had some DUI. I'm trying to remember his college issues.
What happened was that prior to the bowl game, he went out. He actually snuck out in the middle of the night, went to a bar, got in an argument with a couple of people.
Oh, he got into a fight, right?
Well, he got into a fight. The cop tried to break it up. He hit the cop in the jaw. And, you know.
Well, look, I mean, we can all point out to patterns of behavior.
And then just last night he was in a car.
Well,
car had an
and look,
accident.
generally, people who get into trouble once will get into trouble again. But there are plenty of cases where people get into trouble and then they fix themselves.
Right.
So which one is Joe Mixon going to be? I don't know. All right. If I was running a team at the right time in the draft, would I take a chance on him? Yes. What is the right time? Probably depends on my team. Okay.
Right.
You know, am I rebuilding? Am I not? Do I have a veteran team that can handle him? Do I, you know, all those things. Do I trust him? Do I not trust him? I don't know the kid at all. So there's a lot of calculus that goes into it.
Yeah, great point.
So you know, I don't know about Joe Mixon. I don't know that if he walked in the room right now, I wouldn't know the kid. Other than I'm sure he would look like a stellar athlete especially compared to a room full of writers.
Wait a minute. I look pretty good.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm lost it.
We're done here, Zach. We're done.
He's Jason Cole. he's also a Stafford guy. All right, I'm going to eat here. Stay tuned to Zenny62 and subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube.com. I got to eat breakfast here. All right.